Welcome back, everybody. This is Generate More Money Podcast. Gualter, Amarelo, Dr. Terry Wager, Generator Coaching, and we're talking about the wealth principle we just talked about in 52 weeks, just from a little bit different angle, from the psychology point of view. And Gualter's going to ask me some questions. I'm going to give some answers. They may make sense.
Dr. Terry, I know that behind the scenes, and I heard this from a billionaire literally this week. I know I'm talking a lot about it because it's just the mindset shift. And what he said is that I could give you the best strategy. I could give you the best plan. You will do absolutely nothing with it until your mindset is at that level. Until he said, step one is you've got to believe it's possible for you. And so the wealth principle of the week is never give up. So I think that what he said to me is kind of in line with not giving up. Like, people only give up if they don't believe it's possible, right?
My coach gave me this idea. There's all kinds of people out there that make golf clubs, right? And the idea of a golf club is a golf club, but the right person that knows how to swing the club, it doesn't matter what golf club. We could have the best golf club in the world, but if we don't know how to swing it, we're not going to be able to do the same thing. The reality is, it's not the clubs. Everybody that does something can be like the golf club. But when you know what you're doing and you know how to do it and you've spent the time to become expert in it, it becomes less about the club and more about how you use it. And so the idea of never giving up for me is really when we really start looking at what is that idea of where we give up. How do we give up? Who are we listening to when we're giving up? It's us. We end up starting to listen to our own voice in our head. And sometimes our head will create the voice in somebody else's voice, right? I'll be like, Gualter doesn't think I can do this. Gualter doesn't think this. Gualter doesn't think that. And it'll be my head using your voice because I've heard you speak, and be like, that doesn't make sense. And I cause myself to back away from the challenge, and I cause myself to become more rigid in my belief that I can't do it. And then I go and look for the evidence I can't do it.
I'm not a coach, but I knew I need coaches, right?
Absolutely.
I knew somebody had to, like, I was laying down a great strategy. I was laying down some good principles, and people weren't taking action. So I knew I needed somebody to come in and, like, find out why. Like, what is that's why I love these conversations with you. You get the psychology behind, like, it's not necessarily about the strategy all the time. Like, it's sometimes somebody has great capacity, a great plan, a great strategy, the right industry. And we all are in the right industry if we're real estate investors. And yet there's something that stops them. And you just have a knack for bringing people to do it, like to go out and take the action. That's why it's called the bullet train of action.
Right. And, and the thing is back years ago when I was getting sober, I was able to start hearing this: no matter what, you don't have to drink. It helped a lot that there was a lot of people in the 12-step program I was a part of. They would say that you don't have to drink no matter what. You don't have to drink no matter what. No matter what, you don't have to drink. And I embodied that, no matter what. And what I realized is no matter what works for everything.
Yeah.
No matter what you have coming up against you, there's an answer in the form of thinking a different way about it, asking for help, trying again. Just keep going. And when we just keep going, no matter what, something will change. The one thing that I learned a long time ago is no one can do it alone. We just cannot do it alone. We need help from other people, whether it's a mentor, it's a coach, it's a consultant. We need that outside view, because when that quitting cycle pops in, we don't know that that's happening. It's our own voice talking to us, and we trust ourselves, sometimes way too much. And so we start creating this rigidity inside ourselves that, you know what, I've tried everything. How many times? Once. Well, why don't you try it again? It's not going to work. I tried it. And we get stuck in that idea that it's not going to work. It's no use. I've tried everything. Have you tried this? Well, no. But I tried everything else. And we latch onto the thing that didn't work, and our focus becomes that thing that is in the way. We tattoo it on our eyeball, and that's all we can see. And so it takes a friendship. It takes a mentorship. It takes a coaching relationship. It takes a consultant to come in and say, hey, Are you open to a different way?
I grew up in a city with a lot of business owners. There's a lot of entrepreneurs in Fall River. And at the same time, a lot of them have a broke mentality. They make like 50, 60,000. They're very happy. Like they think their business is booming because they're staying small. They're thinking like I'm only gonna stay in this business in this city and make this. Or, I know some people in the city who are making like 100,000. They think they're doing well, right? Or they're making $250,000. They think they're doing well. But they never think beyond, Fall River, New Bedford. Like they just everything is like so local. And then when you have a conversation with them, they're like, no, like I can't do that. I can't do that. Like, what do you say to somebody who like has a business that is like it's the only answer is to grow, right? Like they're concerned they're going to close their doors. They're concerned that they're running out of business. They're not going to have money soon. And so I have the conversation. I say, you got to think bigger. And they're saying, no, I can't do that. Like I just can't make money right now. Right. Like, how do you pull somebody out of that situation of like the only solution is to grow, the only solution is to expand?
I want you to think about the idea of a car stuck, moving forward, gets stuck, right? If you try to push the car forward, it's still stuck. A lot of times, you got to go the other way and push them backwards. Push them backwards, then turn the wheels, and then they can go around whatever they were stuck over. And so, if you think about that analogy, when somebody gets stuck with, oh, I can't do that, we start looking at, and this is what I did a lot when I was working with people in a therapeutic kind of situation, is, okay, so let's chase what happens if you keep going the way you're going. But let's get to reality for a minute. What's going to happen if you don't make the change? What's going to happen if you stay in that mindset? How is your life going to be affected if nothing changes? And it's the weirdest thing that when you start pushing back on where they're at, and don't worry about where they could be, but hey, let's look and really see if that logic works out. Because the fact of the matter is they're very rational. I say this all the time, it's funny as hell, is people don't act irrationally, they act too rationally. And they convince themselves that their idea is going to work, and they don't see the flaws because they listen to their own head. They listen to their own bad advice. And they don't know they did it. It just made sense. And the way you told me it is not the way I heard it. And so you tell me to do something, I say, what he said is this. And that's the same thing that keeps me in my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And so this shows up in people's lives when they're not making any progress, or they're making a 10% progress when they could have made 20 or 30% progress. When they don't put the offers in. When they don't go ask for help. I mean, if you've noticed it as much as I've noticed it in our mentorship, they come in with the same question all the time. Well, how do I raise money? Go get a property. Well, I need money. No, you need a property. Go get something under contract. Then raise the money. Go create a deal, then raise the money. But I don't have any money. Okay, you're not listening to us, you're listening to your head. And it's the cycle of quitting. And we second guess ourselves, and that second guess, is that really going to work? And then we scare ourselves with all of the possibilities of how it's not going to work, and then we focus on those. And then we go and find people that will validate our fear instead of call us on our bullshit.
It brings up another point to this Wolf principle that like I think the average person can understand this, and I want to make sure that like I word this properly. But for a person who has given up on their dreams, I'm thinking of like people I care about. I'm like literally I have a whole bunch of people I care about in my head right now that are like, they're not our students, they're not in our community. These are like people I grew up with who have given up on their dreams. Like, how do you get somebody to ungive up, right? Can they like go dig that out of the cemetery, or is that dream dead? Like how do you get somebody to resurrect something and say, look, like you gave up too soon, because that's the only reason a dream dies, is somebody gives up on it. Is there a resurrection cure? Can we get the paddles and like
that's a great question. And my time that I have spent in the 12-step programs tells me that everybody has a chance. As long as we're breathing, we have a chance. And the question that we all have to ask ourselves is, why do we exist? And how is what you're doing really right now working for you? What is my purpose? And what is the causes and conditions of my fear? And the causes and conditions is funny because we talk about that in the 12-step program I belong to. We talk about causes and conditions of our problems. And the funny thing is, the causes and conditions of our problems is the same causes and conditions of our successes and our assets and our accomplishments. It's our emotions. Our emotions cause us or generate our results. And so when we start really looking at ourselves and we start thinking about, am I quitting or am I succeeding? Which emotional state am I living in? And unfortunately, the vast majority of our country, the vast majority of our world lives in our raw, dominated emotions. These raw feelings of discouragement, despair, freaking disconnection, and we separate, and it just is a scary, lonely world there. And it's not until we go, you know what, I don't like this. I want to understand who I am, how I am, where I am, and what I want to do, that we can start moving forward. And, every day is the same. No, it's not. No, it's not. If we look for how it's the same, we're going to find it. And if we look for how it's different and we look for what possibilities are there, we can find it. And that's that no matter what, I am looking for what is different today, what opportunity is out there, who am I supposed to meet today, who am I supposed to be of service today, how am I supposed to help them, how are we supposed to work through whatever disagreement we might have. And that's all there is to it. How can I communicate?
I feel like what we sell is something that everybody needs. Like I know that you feel the same way. Like I feel in my core, like everybody needs what we're doing, right? They need to have the understanding that we have, they need to have the lifestyle that we have. Like anybody who's struggling to get by, everybody who doesn't have enough money to get by, or can't send their kids to the college or on vacation, or they can't go to the places to do the things that they want to do. Like I feel like they need to know how to live life, right? Like it's like, look, the life you were sold is wrong, right? The blueprint you were given is wrong. Like you need the new opportunity. You need to work with people who know what they're doing and get the right people around you.
Absolutely. So if you can recognize how this shows up in your business, where you find yourself on that negative side, where you find yourself on that quitting side, or in that cycle of quitting, or in that cycle of giving up, and you're not sure what to do, reach out to Generator Coaching. Reach out to Alchemist Nation. If you're a real estate investor, get a hold of Gualter. Get a hold of me. We have a community that is huge, that just wants to help everyone else get to that $1 million mark. We are building 100 millionaires. He's building 100 millionaires. I'm building 100 millionaires. We're building millionaires so that we can actually build that community of like-minded people that want the success and want to share the success with everyone else.
And if you want to hear more from Terry, go to alchemistnation.com and send him a direct message. He does respond. Send him a direct message, or you can go to generatorcoaching.com and sign up for a free call. Generatorcc.com. Get a free call, a live consultation. If you've done it before and you still have questions, do it again. If at first it doesn't succeed, try again.
Try again. Absolutely. And awesome. I will see you in the next call.
Cheers. See you on the next one.